Hi, I'm Jeff Allen in the studio, and I have some pieces that I've painted on paper that I'm going to be attaching to a substrate that's a Gatorboard substrate. Actually, it's a painting I did that the paper failed on it, and so I'm just going to be laminating this on top using a dry heat method. And it's a product. The product that I'll be using is called Beva 371B. I bought it at Natural Pigments. It comes in a roll 27 by 20 feet. It's right now, currently it's $160. So it's an expensive way to do this, but I wanted to protect the painting from getting any water on it. And I usually have, in the past, have used acrylic gel medium, but as you can see, this panel's bigger than this, and I'm going to cut down into the piece. I was just afraid of some kind of moisture getting up on the piece, and I have done it before successfully, but I just wanted to try this new method, and this is my first go at this, actually. But I mean, it really worked well, and so I thought I'd just share it. So the things that you'll end up needing to do this, besides the substrate, and I did a little test on regular archival board, which is sort of like foam core, and it bent with the heat. I'm not sure if there's a way to do it heated up evenly both sides, maybe with a press, but as soon as it bends, that's it. I didn't want to use it. And it could be you put it in the frame and it might flatten out, but I really think Gatorboard is sort of the better choice. More expensive, but a better choice. So let's see, what else you need? This is a really handy thing, and this is a silicone coated fabric, and what it does is it separates your artwork from the heat source. And this is an iron. The iron, I have it on a dry setting, and this material, the Beva 371, it melts at 150 degrees. So that's what you're trying to achieve. And when I get to that process, I'll talk about that. The sheet of Beva, once you, I think maybe I should explain, there's 3 layers in it. The film is sandwiched in between 2 layers. One is Mylar, and one is this opaque paper. Both are silicone coated. And the process is 2 steps, which I'll go through. So this piece of paper, once you pull it off, can substitute as a heat barrier, just like this fabric. But I really think it's important to separate your work from the heat source so that no kind of scarring or scuff marks or anything ends up on the artwork. Other things you need is a straight edge, a utility knife, weights. We need weights because as it's drying, we want to make sure that it stays flat. So I put a smooth board on top, weights on top of that, and wait 10 minutes. And also you need something like a silicone spatula, something that's straight and soft to once it's all on there and heated, you need something to sort of squeegee it flat to make sure that there's no bubbles, and that's what this is for. And in a pinch, I just cut a piece of 8-ply mat board, and this worked great too. I was really surprised, but it's stiff enough, it holds its shape, it's paper, it's a soft edge, and it's not scarring the piece. And I do that with something like this on top, so I'm never touching the piece, never abrading the piece as I do this. So you need a clean surface, and I mean, if it's this, or I do both. I use this, plus I have a vacuum next to this table, and I vacuum everything out. You would avoid any kind of dust getting under there. And you know, the beauty about paper, you know, it's so thin and you can almost feel if there's dust. What I'm really concerned about is getting the thick paint off so that I have an even adhesion through the whole thing, and I don't want anything lifting off the thicker application, so that's why I'm seeing. Now I'm vacuuming all the particles off of this just to make sure there's not like a layer of dust on top, so that the film doesn't. Another item that I need in order to safely laminate using this dry method, my painting onto this Gatorboard, is a silicone impregnated fabric. And I bought this from a t-shirt maker, so I don't exactly know. I just know that it uses silicone, but it transfers the heat without affecting the material underneath, and there's no sticking because of the silicone, very slick. So this film, it's called Beva 371B, and it's made by Conservator Products and Company. And initially I was using it for linens, doing oil painting, but I think it might have a really good application for watercolors onto Gatorboard. So here I have my watercolor, and here is the material itself cut down to size to cover this substrate. And I just wanted to zoom in a little bit just to show you this. It's a sandwich of three things. One is Mylar, and attached to the Mylar is the actual film itself. It's very thin. And then this layer is an opaque, it has a silicone surface on this side, so it peels off very easily, and it's opaque on this side. And this kind of thing is very handy. It's sort of like my silicone cloth, which is much more sturdy, but is used to protect whatever your artwork when the heat is applied. So I can press the iron down, and it'll protect whatever my artwork underneath. So that's it. So let's get started. We're going to start lamination, and first it's the one part of this we're laminating first, and then the other part. So I'm going to get rid of our silicone, opaque silicone sheet, and what this is Mylar with our film on it. So I'm just going to put it over, and it's very clean. It should be. It's very necessary for this to be clean, and so. You know what, I didn't check it, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull this back up and just, you know, I did vacuum it, and usually I keep the counter very clean here vacuuming it, and so, but especially I think it might be more important with a watercolor paper not to have any little speck of dust in there or anything, but it might behoove you just to give it a feel, just to make sure you don't feel anything like dust in there. I'm not attaching it down, I'm just feeling for dust. Okay, so this is centered on here, and of course I've cut this larger than my actual image that I'll be laminating, you know, so I'm going to be cutting it down. I thought that was safer. So, and this is my silicone separating thing, and I'm just going to take this iron and I'll start laminating it. So as I'm doing this, I think you want to start from the middle and go out. You know, basically anytime you're laminating anything, I mean, I think even with acrylic, you really want to start from the middle, and just because you want to avoid any kind of bubbles at all. So I've gone around the whole thing, and now it's time just to really heat it up. And I tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure. It probably depends on your barrier, how thick it is. And sometimes you can use the silicone paper as well as a barrier while you're doing this. So the thing that I just peeled off, you could use as a barrier doing the same technique. But I think this cloth is sort of a better thing. So I'm just going to keep going. And I think as I go around, you know, I want it to heat up evenly. And I think it's important, actually, so the board doesn't warp. You know, if you just heated one part of the board, there might be an expansion. And then when it cools, it's like, and you have a cool hot, I think that's when you can get some warping. So do it even, it takes a while, and I think I'll check it in just a little bit. And really what happens is it starts to, I think, change color. So I'll heat this up that corner, and we'll pull this back. And I can see like a little bubble there, so I'm just gonna press that out. It could be a bubble between the laminate and the mylar, so that can be a possibility. Okay, so we're just gonna peel this back and give it a look. We'll give that one more go. And there we go. So I think I do see some bubbles, but you know, that could be laminate. And so we'll just go ahead and I'm going to let that cool just a little bit, and then we'll check it. So another thing that I'm doing just to make sure that as it cools, it's still kind of hot, I'm just using, this is a mat board. It's like 8 ply, so it's very stiff, but I'm just kind of pushing it down into this board just to make sure it connects and adheres. So I'm just doing that. And you could use, oops, pardon me. I think this might be too hard, too sharp. I mean, we are going to put another paper over it. So if you just have I would be careful with this. You don't want to gouge anything. This is a rounded edge putty knife, so it's pretty safe. Or something like this, which is a silicone spatula, I think will work well as well. Okay, so it's somewhat dry. Remember, I hit this, pull it off, smooth it out. It's dry now. And now I want to separate the Mylar film from the BV 371 film. So I don't know if you can see, as I pull back the Mylar, you can see the film hanging right there. I don't know if it's in focus, but so there it is. So I'm just going to peel it off. And there I have my film on this. And, here's my piece. And this is relatively, I flattened this out, so it is pretty flat already. So now, basically the procedure will be to, center this wherever I want on this. I guess I could come up to here, but it doesn't matter. I overshot, just so I'd have the ability to really get exactly right up to the edge of the piece where I want it. So it's the same procedure. And we'll do that now. Ready to laminate, and I just want to say, if you don't have this, you can use this, which is the very silicone layered sheet I took off of the Beva 371. So flip, silicone side down, and I could use this. But as I said, I kind of want to use this because it overlaps, and I can go right up to the edge and really make sure that they are secure. And so, again, I'm reaching over to my iron, and I just want to say that I have the iron on the dry, if you can see it, it's acrylic nylon setting, it's dry heat, and I did take the whatever liquid was out of it so that it's not shooting any moisture into this, because I could go through this, probably not because it's silicone, but I don't want it to transfer. So I'm just going to do the same process. I'm going to try and make it very even. I'm going to start at the center. I'm going to work outwards. And actually this way, it's like I could be a little crooked on this, and I don't think it would matter because I'm just kind of cut down to it. And I'll probably end up using a straight edge and a razor blade, a utility knife of some sort, and a straight edge blade. Again, so it's a slow, like I'm not in a hurry, I'm just trying to make it, even. So I'm sort of trying to do like a circle here, starting in the middle, coming out. I don't know if we can get a more overhead shot, you can kind of see the piece underneath this. And so far so good. And really, when I think about it, this takes longer because it's thicker. Like we're having to go heat through the paper, through the silicone to get to the substrate. So I can tell it's really almost hot to hold there. Don't want to get it too hot either. And remember, it's not secure until it actually cools. So I'm just, actually, I think I might be there now. And what's been like not even 2 minutes, and I'm just gonna pull this back and see what it looks like. It looks like it's pulling up just a bit there, so I don't think it's time. Okay, so this is all nice and evenly heated up. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this aside, the iron. And I have, this is aluminum composite material, so it's pretty doggone smooth on this side. I'm gonna put this down on top of my silicone. Basically what I wanted it to do is I wanted to adhere to the substance flow, pardon the painting I have on top. And then I'm just gonna throw a weight of some sort on top of here to weight this down. And I'm gonna wait 10 minutes or so, let it cool down, and then we'll peel it off and see if it sticks. Okay, so we waited about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna take the weights off. And again, try to just keep even weight. And actually I put this on top of another piece of plywood, and it's all about distributing the weight evenly over the whole thing. And then this was the smooth aluminum composite. And so, and I'm feeling it, and it feels, very cool. So I'm just peeling it up, and you can tell as I peel it, if you zoom in here, if we zoom in, you can see that little sheen there. That's our laminating material. I'm not sure it's the film, and you can see that is flat. The edge of that is just super flat. And so I'm just going to pulling this back. Remember, this is silicone, so it's not going to stick. And it sort of gives like a seamless surface. And I think if you look at it, you won't see any bumps or anything. And we used no water to put this on, so there's no danger to the piece. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this piece down, cut off the edge, and then I'll frame it. So, well, here we're all done. I cut the excess off, and so this is the Gatorboard panel. And I don't know if you can tell, just doing this, zooming in closely here, but it's just a nice tight fit. Now, I mean, I do see like a little spot here, and I think this is going to be underneath the rabbit, so it's not going to show, and so I'm not too worried about it. But I could take one of my silicone coated things and reheat that and see if it holds down, but it's pretty much 99.5 or 99.9 adhered to the board. So I'm really happy with the way this worked out. And again, we used no water, so our watercolor was not in danger of anything. And so here's our end result, and our panel, I'll just show you. There it is right there. And it's held in with, some brackets. And it's under museum glass. You can see a reflection there. There's spacers between the painting, the paper, and the glass, just in case, under some heat, condensation gets on the glass, so you want to keep it separate from the watercolor paper because it could stir up your watercolors. But I'm really happy with the result, and it's ready to hang. And a lot of times when I do plein air shows, I like to have things on panels because I can just put it right into a plein air frame, and it goes on the wall with other artists' work, oil paintings, pastels, and everything. And you just can't tell the difference. It's good that way. Anyhow, very pleased.